I'm Jacqueline Quinn, Deputy Director at DCRAC. I'm here to help you with your housing, tax, or title problem, so give me a call anytime, and I'm happy to meet to see what we can do together.
My name is Joe Gross. I'm the Credit Clinic Director here at DCRAC. I'm the one that would sit down with you, develop a budget, figure out a spending plan, pull your credit report, and see if there's any way we can improve that.
Hi, my name is Lillian Harrison, and I'm the Housing Director for DCRAC. And as the Housing Director, I help people with foreclosure prevention, pre-purchase counseling, credit, and budgeting. And it's absolutely my pleasure to serve you.
Hi, my name is Anthony Doring. I'm Delaware's free tax attorney and the director at the DCRAC Low Income Tax Clinic. If you receive a notice from the IRS, please give me a call as soon as possible so I can schedule you for a free consultation.
Hi, my name is Maricela Tovar Rangel, and I am responsible for doing the intake process here at DCRAC. And I also manage the credit union, Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union, y también hablo español.
Hi, my name is Christian Tillerino. I work for DCRAC as an outreach director. I enjoy working for community and local families.
Hi, my name is Howard Keener. I'm the Director of Strategic Projects and Community Affairs for DCRAC. I work on human resources, internal policies and procedures, and community development, and also marketing for DCRAC.
I'm Jacqueline Quinn, Deputy Director at DCRAC. I'm here to help you with your housing, tax, or title problem, so give me a call anytime, and I'm happy to meet to see what we can do together.
My name is Joe Gross. I'm the Credit Clinic Director here at DCRAC. I'm the one that would sit down with you, develop a budget, figure out a spending plan, pull your credit report, and see if there's any way we can improve that.
Hi, my name is Lillian Harrison, and I'm the Housing Director for DCRAC. And as the Housing Director, I help people with foreclosure prevention, pre-purchase counseling, credit, and budgeting. And it's absolutely my pleasure to serve you.
Hi, my name is Anthony Doring. I'm Delaware's free tax attorney and the director at the DCRAC Low Income Tax Clinic. If you receive a notice from the IRS, please give me a call as soon as possible so I can schedule you for a free consultation.
Hi, my name is Maricela Tovar Rangel, and I am responsible for doing the intake process here at DCRAC. And I also manage the credit union, Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union, y también hablo español.
Hi, my name is Christian Tillerino. I work for DCRAF as a outreach director. I enjoy working for community and local families.
Hi, my name's Howard Keener. I'm the Director of Strategic Projects and Community Affairs for DCRAC. I work on human resources, internal policies and procedures, and community development.
Hello, Delaware. How are you? I am Rashmi Rangan, and I'm going to spend the next hour talking about what? Money, money, money. It makes the world go round. So let me start with an overview of this organization. You've heard me, gosh, since February 1999. It's the same thing, just said in a new way. So, what is Delaware Community Reinvestment Action Council? It is a nonprofit organization started in 1987 by Jim Sills, who was then a professor at the University of Delaware, and he was a state rep representing the city of Wilmington. Some of his students conducted a research, and the research was around HMDA data, Home Mortgage Disclosure Act data, that revealed that an African American applicant to a mortgage was 7.5 times more likely to be denied a loan than a Caucasian applicant. So we got together. By the way, when I say we, I was not yet in America. We got together, and that same evening, DCRAC was born. And for its first 5 years, the focus was on Delaware banks that were either buying or being bought by the neighboring banks. And during that merger, we had the opportunity to represent the convenience and needs of our community. Community Reinvestment Act is a federal law signed into law in 1977 in response to this blatant practice of redlining. What is redlining? Very simple. Drawing a red line in geographies, telling loan officers you can take deposits, but when it comes to lending, these are neighborhoods that we will not lend to. So, to combat the practice of this blatant redlining, refusing to make loans just because of where folk live, was why Community Reinvestment Act was enacted 40 years ago. In these 40 years, one would think things have changed immensely. Wrong. The gap in home ownership between an African American and a white American is wider today than in the Jim Crow era. Why? Why is it so wide? That is a question that doesn't have an absolute straight answer. Market, people, rates, policies, looking the other way when there is blatant discrimination, not recognizing that there is discrimination. Oh, I could go on and on for the next 55 minutes talking about why the gap is so wide. There's only one piece that we can do to narrow the gap, and that one piece is every single one of us persons of color should say, no, this is wrong, I will change it. And how? By going out and making sure that if anybody told you you couldn't become a homeowner, say to the naysayers they are wrong and begin doing what you need to do. What do you need to do in order to become a homeowner? Just two things. Only two things you need to do. One is save, 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 save as much as you can. Don't think I am so under debt, so overwhelmed that there is no hope. Don't think that. It's only money. Save. And the second thing, which is not rocket science, it is to have an awesome credit score. You can get a credit score of 723. And when you are on the credit score range of 723 and above, you are on your way to being a millionaire. Absolutely. Haven't you heard me say there is Mother Teresa applying for a loan with a credit score of 350, and then there is me applying for a loan with a credit score of 723. Guess who gets it? Not Mother Teresa. I will get the loan. Why? Because I have a credit score of 723. Mother Teresa has a credit score of 350. What happens? She gets a high cost loan, not the loan that I would get at a credit score of 723. It's easy. It really is easy. If you knew what kind of questions you will be asked on an exam and you prepare, you are going to ace that exam, right? So if you knew what goes into your credit score, why can't you ace that? You can, right? So 5 things go into credit score, and on all 5 you do have tremendous control. So thing number 1, 35% of your score is based on do you pay all your bills on time. Now, to get in that practice of paying all your bills on time, certainly you'll need to get a good handle over your budget. You'll need to know cash flow. You'll need to know when is money coming in, when is money going out, and what kind of changes do you have to make sure that your payments are always on time. Now, some people get paid every month, in which case it really is easy to budget because you got your paycheck on the 1st or a benefit check on the 3rd, and all bills are paid on a monthly basis, right? So you knew, here is $1,000 that came in, and I have to pay $400 for my rent. I have to put aside $200 for food for the rest of the month. I have to pay my insurance. I have to pay my car loan. I have to pay my student loan. I have to pay my credit card bill. I have to put away for something else. But you know right there and then, here's the money. This is how I'm going to spend over the next 30 days. When you get paid every other week, it becomes difficult because for 10 months of the year, you are poor, and then there are 2 months of the year when you're rich because you get that extra payment. That puts a little kind of break on your cash flow. You have to wait until that first month with that extra check to be able to get caught up, and that second month with that extra check to actually get ahead. So cash flow plays a huge role in making sure that you get 35 on 35. So you know 35% of your score is based on do you pay your bills on time. And the only way you can do that is, one, either you're making so much money and your bills are so low that it really doesn't matter, or timing it, figuring out how to plan so that every bill is paid on time. Sometimes it is as simple as recognizing, oh, if I paid these bills on the 16th of every month, I'll always have money to pay it. Picking up the phone, calling, and changing from the 3rd of the month to the 16th of the month as your bill due date. So you'll always meet that due date. So 35% of your score is based on, do you pay your bills on time? 30% of the score is based on how much credit do you have available. At any given time, you should use only 30% of your available credit and have 70% of your available credit available to you. So that is 30% of your score. So if you know, and if you don't know, pick up the phone and call your credit card company and say, what is my line of credit? So you pick up the phone and they say your line of credit is $1,000. You look at your bill and you have $500 that you have charged up. You have two choices. Choice one, if you have a great credit score, is to say, raise my credit limit. And if you don't have a good score and they don't raise your credit limit, choice number two is pay down so that you have only $300 that you've charged. So definitely pay it down by $200. My ideal would be if you got your credit card bill and it says you've charged $538, write a check for $538 and pay it. Pay it off in full every single time. When you do that, you're not paying interest, which is a good thing. So 35% of your score, do you pay your bills on time? 30%, if this much is available, you've used only this much. A third of what is available is what you should use. Doesn't apply, of course, to your mortgage, your car, and your student loans. Those are the only exceptions. Credit card, make sure you bring down how much you've used to about 30%. 15% of your score is based on length of your credit. So in America, at the ripe young age of 18, your credit relationship begins. You can now borrow and enter into a legally binding contract. So the first things expected are student loans, car loans, credit cards. So that's how your credit history begins. Usually, the look-back period is 2 to 3 years. How have you done in the last 2 to 3 years managing your credit? So, if you've done terribly yesterday, it's okay, because then plan a 3-year, next 3 years that you will have the greatest credit score, and you can work on it. So remember, 15% of your credit score is based on how much time in the past you've managed it beautifully every single time. No late pays, no excessive credit, etc., etc. So 35% pay on time, 30% usage, that is 65, plus 15% is time, 80%. So we have covered 80% with 3 things. Pay on time, know how much is available to you, and owe only about 30%. 15% on time. The remaining 20% is divided. 10% on who your lenders are, and 10% on did you apply recently for a loan and did you get that loan. So that's where the inquiry comes in, and I don't waste any time on that. 10% on who your lenders are is something that you can control. So if you go and borrow money from those that say no credit, no problem, bad credit, no problem, no job, no problem, you're basically signaling to the whole world that you're so credit impaired that the only people who are going to lend to you are the ones who lend to those who have lousy credit. Now, you don't want to borrow from them because you're hurting your credit. Even though it's only 10%, it's a big, big ding. Avoid that. You really want to borrow from those snooty lenders who say, I lend to those who've got excellent credit. Remember, your mama used to tell you, and probably still tells you, you're judged by the company you keep. So keep great, awesome company. And now you're going to ask, and rightly so, hey, Rashmi, you're telling me borrow only from those that make loans to those with awesome credit, but I don't have awesome credit. How in the world can I get there? Simple. So, you've heard me talk about our credit clinic. Credit clinic is a free service available to you. On the first Monday, that is tomorrow, from 5:30 to 7:30, absolutely free, at 603 North Church Street. Come on over. Joe Gross, our credit clinic director, is going to explain to you about budgeting, saving, credit, truth in lending, etc., and what you can do to take advantage of a credit builder program offered by Artisans Bank. You can't walk into Artisans Bank and say, I want the credit builder program. No, that's not how it works. Artisans Bank has worked with the housing counseling community and established this program nearly 30 years ago. And the program's basic premise is that counseled clients who really, really want to work to build their credit are the ones that this is available to. So, the way it works is, it's really you're saving. You are saving, and in that process of saving, you happen to build your credit. So, after you've attended the class, Joe will work with you, review your bank statements, review your credit report, review your credit score, create a budget for you, look at the budget to see, is there any money left after you've paid all your bills and fed yourself? If there is money left and you really, really want to build that credit, then and only then he'll help you fill out that Artisans application. He will send that application to Artisans Bank. They are going to then extend you a line of credit. On your credit report, there will be a line from Artisans Bank. It's a secured loan. You won't get a dime in your hands. You will promise to make X dollar payment on such and such date every month. On that date every month, you will make the promised payment. That money is being reported as you've been paying on time. So, suppose today you borrow $1,000, you take 12 months to pay back $1,000 with 9% interest. At the end of 12 months, you have $1,000 saved. That's your money to do what you want. How does that help boost your credit score? Because 10% point you get because you borrowed from a snooty lender. 15% you get because you've spent 12 months paying on time. No, you've spent 12 months. So 12 months of rich history. 30% you get because you have $1,000 available to you and you have 100% still available to you after 12 months. And 35% because 12 months you paid your bills on time. Now this program is for only those who promise to themselves that I am willing to live on love and air, but that bill will be paid, because while it builds your credit score, not paying on time tanks it. So it's a huge risk. If you're willing to take that risk, and be explaining it to you, it's risky. You can't say, oh, something came up, so I couldn't make that payment, because then you might as well not have done anything. It's a big risk. So if you have a 3-year plan, year 1, $1,000, and you boost your credit score maybe by 50 points. Year 2, another $1,000, boost your credit score another 50 points. Year 3, another $1,000, and boost your credit score by 100 points. You've increased your credit score just by this program by 100 points plus $3,000 saved. So everything else that you do during these 3 years is going to skyrocket your score. So if you are patient, and regardless, even if you don't want to become a homeowner, it makes sense to learn how to borrow smart, right? Because that is where a huge chunk of money can be saved. I've looked at thousands of budget. There isn't a whole lot you could do about your mortgage. Certainly if you were paying 7, 8, 9% fixed rate mortgage or an adjustable rate mortgage, your credit score is good, you could refinance to a fixed rate, lower 3%, 4% mortgage, and it'll save you money. Same is the case with your car loan. If you're paying 20% interest rate on your car loan, refinance it at 10% and you have money saved. If you're paying a lender 360% APR, you could use your credit card and pay 13% interest rate. So there are many ways you could save. A good credit score, therefore, is incredibly important, because mortgage is an area not much you can do, but it's the borrowing piece that you could do a whole lot, and it's the eating out piece that you could do a whole lot. Not any budget, including mine, and I am cheap and I am proud. Even in my budget, if I sat down and said, I need to find $100 saving every month, trust me, I will be able to find $100 saving. It could mean driving my car a little less. It could mean filling it up at not this gas station, but the next gas station. It could mean, instead of cooking every day, packing peanut butter jelly sandwiches. So there are many ways I could save $100 a month, even in my budget, and I am cheap and proud to begin with. So look at your budget, find that saving. You're not doing it for anyone except yourself, because emergency will never tell you, November 8th, I'm coming knocking on your door. It happens, and it's in an emergency that all plans go awry, right? So I told you about our credit clinic. It's a free service. Take advantage. Use us. At the most, you might say, nah, I know everything. But at least give us a try and see. Maybe there's something we can teach you. Maybe you know it all. But maybe you want to use that program that requires you to sit down with us. Maybe you just want somebody to take a look and say, why is it for every 1 step forward, I'm taking 2 steps back? Maybe we have the answer. Maybe we don't. But you should try. So that's our credit clinic. Reminder once again, first Monday of every month, 5:30 to 7:30. So I hope I'll see some of you tomorrow. Housing. I started out by saying that DCRAC was founded 30 years ago in response to CRA, enacted 40 years ago, in response to combating redlining, or saying, I am not gonna give loans in these neighborhoods. So, home ownership is something that I deeply, deeply, deeply believe in. Yes, for the last several years, everyone the regulators, Federal Reserve, said the new normal is that not everyone ought to be homeowners. I totally disagree with that. Who is the federal government telling me what my homeownership journey ought to be? I came to the US September 21st, 1988. I don't know what this American soil did to me. I landed, possibly it was because for the first time in my life I was making a rent payment. I was not happy and I wanted to be a homeowner desperately. And within 4 years, I did it. I became a homeowner. I worked very, very hard to make sure that that dream, that American dream, was mine. For so many people over the last several decades, home ownership was stripped away from them in the guise of assistance, reverse mortgages, refinancing, using the home improvement loan scams, so much in the name of making credit available to those who didn't have access to credit, and scams and toxic loan products by lenders who were totally unregulated. So our banks did not cause that crisis. They did good CRA mortgages. They still cannot do a whole lot, and certainly they can't scam you. But you've read about and heard about Rocket Mortgage? It's not a regulated lender. It's no different than the Ocwins and Ameriquests and Countrywides of the past. So we really don't learn anything from our history. We are insistent on repeating it. But guess what? In that repeating these historical excesses, oftentimes the target of those excesses is always the underserved community. So on the one hand, banks create a vacuum, and on the other hand, they finance extortion. Right now, the Community Reinvestment Act is once again up for expansion, modernization, messing it up some more. And in that process, the regulators are saying, you know what, there is no need for bank branches. This is the wonderful new age of smartphones, technology. We have developed, banks have invested so much, and yes, they have invested so much in mobile technology. You can pick up your phone, take a picture of your check, and voila, that check is deposited into your account. The remote deposit capture. You can check your balances. You don't need a landline. You don't need a computer. If you have your phone, you could do everything. All right? Good, great, terrific. I don't have a phone. I have my flip phone. I can't do much. Yeah, in fact, so many of our members at the credit union say, don't send me emails, just text me. So, sure, banks have invested tremendously in amazing technologies to help you figure out there is an app for everything, including, I forgot to say, Mission 723, an app that we developed. It's a 52-week savings and credit building challenge. Why is the name Mission 723? Because I want you to have a score of 723 or higher, and it's a free app. Download it. If you have a Apple phone or an Android phone, go to the App Store, search for Mission 723, download it. Every week you'll get a little assignment. One assignment would be, it's week 1, save $1. It's week 30, save $30. It's week 42, save $42. But in addition, there'll be a tiny little paragraph of some learning about credit and some assignments. It might be go and download the Credit Karma app on your cell phone so you can see what your credit score is. Those that have downloaded these apps on their phone have actually been incredibly fiercely protective of their scores. They'll pick up the phone and call and say, hey, what did I do? Yesterday my score was 538 and today it is 531. What happened between yesterday and today? And we'll quickly go over it with them to help them figure out what they did. Maybe it was a payment that they didn't pay on time that tanked their score a little. So, which is one of the reasons we invested in the credit score. But I went off track. I was talking to you about home ownership. Our housing clinic works really as credit clinic first to get you on that savings and credit score path, and then works so that when you become a homeowner, it is a sustainable home ownership. You understand everything. You understand the pros and cons and the trips and traps that might be thrown your way over the next 30 years, because it is 30 years till death you part. In a marriage, divorce is less painful than a divorce from your home. And trust me, we do foreclosure prevention, and it is traumatizing for the housing counselor, and that's Lillian Harrison, and for the homeowner who is invested so much. And it's not just the money, it is everything. It's not just a house, it is your home. It's everything to you. And then when it gets taken away, snatched away, stolen from you, or just taken away because you couldn't keep it, it is traumatizing. So we understand. But a stitch in time saves nine. If knowing what could happen, you can weigh the pros and cons. You could forever be a tenant and make a landlord very wealthy and live on the chance, and a very real chance, that every year your rent will keep going up. And if life throws you a curveball, there won't be anything out there that you could fall back on. At least when you're a homeowner, you could refinance, you could do so many things, you could sell your house. So, but those are things that we talk about, that you don't know what tomorrow will bring. So because tomorrow is so uncertain, the steps that you're taking towards tomorrow, money-wise, better be smart, wise decision, right? So homeownership, foreclosure prevention, those are the two things that we really invest very heavily in you to make sure you do the right thing. With foreclosure prevention, there are two ways. If there is an ability to prevent the home from going into a foreclosure, you have to work with us, and we can most of the times make it possible. Sometimes we can't because of the lender. But if there is nothing that can be done to prevent your home from going into a sheriff sale, there are so many other options. Deed in lieu, short sale. So explore those options as well. So that's that. There are now 2 legal services that we provide. Some of you may know that there are 3 attorneys on DCRAC staff. I am one. Jacqueline Quinn, our deputy director, is the other, and she runs our title project. And Anthony Doring is our 3rd attorney. He runs our tax clinic. So let me tell you about the title project, then I'll tell you about our tax clinic, and then into the credit union. All right, so what is our title project? You know, it came as a surprise to us that there are so many owners of land, home, or mobile home who are owners But when it comes to proving that they are owners, there is no proof because they have not titled that property in their name. And the reasons could be very many. I didn't know, didn't think. It was my grandma's. My mom lived here. I live here. My children will live here. My grandchildren will live here. It's ours. When you don't have proof of ownership, there is so much you simply cannot do. You cannot leave it into your will because it's not yours to leave. You cannot refinance. It ain't yours to refinance. You cannot get a grant to fix it and have major repairs. It ain't yours to do. You cannot get a reverse mortgage. It ain't yours to get a reverse mortgage. You cannot get a loan modification. It ain't yours. You cannot remove the tax lien. It ain't yours. So it is something that also, in addition to the very fact that you can't prove it, so you're desperate to prove ownership, there are also quite a few scams. I haven't heard of any in the city of Wilmington or state of Delaware, but that doesn't mean there aren't title scams. So we are offering the service at absolutely no cost to you. Our services are free. However, there are many services or many costs that you will still have to pay, and that would be related to titling your property, so anything that you have to pay to the recorder of deeds, to get a duplicate title, to do probate. There are certain costs that you will have to come, but I think altogether at most it'll be $500. So that is your legal service that we provide you. Title project run by Jacqueline Quinn. The other legal service we've been offering since 2003, and that is our tax clinic. So tax clinic, of course, we do a lot about teaching you about what to do, what not to do with your tax returns. But regardless, whether you do it, whether somebody else does your returns, there are occasions when IRS says, I don't believe you. And when IRS says, I don't believe you, they send you a nice big bill. And you then have to fight them. So in the community that we serve, in credit clinic, housing clinic, foreclosure prevention, home ownership, we are really generally dealing with a creditor, like maybe a credit card company, maybe an auto lender, maybe a mortgage lender. And they are tough to deal with. Can you imagine when on the other side of the V that you're fighting, there's this big Uncle Sam? How terrifying that can be. Plus, the statistics are very clear. When you are represented by an attorney, your chances of success before the IRS are much greater than if you respond to the IRS letters. By the way, I've seen so many clients that come to us with all the letters unopened. And even if they're opened, it's highly unlikely that you would understand what IRS is trying to say. So when you call us, it'll be Anthony Doring that you would call at 690-5000. He's going to ask, what is the notice? The notice number, is it CP2000, CP45, whatever the notice number is. And based on that, he'll already know what your next steps ought to be. So even if you are in tax court, even on the day of tax court, when the tax court sits in Philadelphia, Anthony is there every time tax court sits in Philadelphia, and you hadn't gotten any representation on that day, Anthony can sit down and give you formal representation or an informal consultation, or if you select him as your attorney, postpone the date, if that's what's needed. So you have a free tax attorney here in Delaware. If you have tax troubles with the IRS, just pick up the phone, call 690-5000. That's Anthony Doring. Anthony also runs his own private practice where he assists the community in other areas, and most of those services are, of course, paid services. So, money education and assistance in the area of credit, home ownership, and foreclosure prevention. Legal services in the area of title project and taxes. And then we are your banker as well. So, about 15 years ago, we did a lot of research, and we advocate against all those toxic loans that are flooding our communities. What are the toxic loans? The title loans, the payday loans, the refund anticipation loans, the we buy gold, the pawn shops. All of these are incredibly expensive form of borrowing. But that's the only form of borrowing that is available in our neighborhoods. So we advocate against them. But advocacy alone ain't enough. We fight our banks saying, be in our neighborhoods. That ain't enough, because they say it is a huge administrative burden to serve our communities, and regulators agree, so they get a pass. We said we need a financial institution for our communities, owned by us, so that we can shape it the way we want to be served. And the only regulated institution that we could think of in its form was a credit union. So, took us a long time, several years of planning to actually receive the charter in September 2011. And the name of that credit union is Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union. Remember, the year is 2011 when we obtained the charter. 2011, we are still in the midst of a financial crisis. Banks are merging, failing left, right, and center, as are credit unions. So just to get the charter in 2011 is something that we should be incredibly proud of. And when I say we, I don't mean we, I mean us. What is this credit union? Its goal is to one day become your primary financial institution. All the services that you could get from a Bank of America, we want to be able to offer you out of Stepping Stones. We ain't there yet. We are far from there yet. So what are we offering? Well, since its inception, we have offered, if you live, work, worship, or study in the city of Wilmington, you can become a member. When you become a member, you can save, you can open share certificates or CDs, and you can borrow. Initially, it was only small loans. Today, it's small loans up to $5,000 and auto loans up to $15,000. And that's new, used, as well as refinancing. So those other borrowings, you still have a savings, you have borrowings. Today, you can also do direct deposits, and today, you can also get an ATM card. So, we have solved for only one huge problem that we have seen in our neighborhoods. And the campaign is Don't Pay to Get Paid. So, employers don't want to write you checks anymore. But when you do get a check, if you don't have a bank account, Then you're going to a check casher, and the check casher is charging you a fee. Avoid that fee. Have an account, get your money directly deposited, and then in order to have access to your money, you get an ATM card that is usable at all Wawas, Royal Farms, and almost 90% of WSFS ATM terminals. So, this is where we are. We've come a long way. You can open an account, and today we fund your first $5. It's $5 that makes you a member. Member means you are an owner. So when you are an owner of your financial institution, what does that mean? You have the power as the owner of your financial institution to elect its board, to demand what services you need, to attend the annual meetings, which are always on the third Wednesday in the month of April every year. So we had an annual meeting last month. As a owner, you have tremendous control on the destiny of your financial institution. You are not just a number. Because you own your credit union, you don't earn interest on your savings, and the savings aren't called savings, but they are called share accounts, and you earn a dividend. If you were buying stocks in the market, you then earn dividends. So, as a member of the credit union and any credit union, you are a shareholder, you are earning dividends. The free services that are available to you through Stepping Stones, one, you can open an account. If you meet the field of membership, live, work, worship, or study in the city of Wilmington, then once you've opened your account, have a direct deposit of your paycheck, your benefits check. Once you have direct deposit, you get that ATM card. You can withdraw your money for everyday uses. What is missing so far in what we have built is your bill pay. So we don't have bill pay at the moment. Hopefully we'll turn it on within a year. Once we have that, we'll begin growing some more. In the area of lending or borrowing, we have share secured loans, we have unsecured signature loans up to $5,000, and we have used and new auto loans up to $15,000. So we have lending products. And we have a mobile bank, and that ain't this mobile. It's on wheels. So we have this van that is always plugged on Tuesdays from 11:30 to 2:30 at 600 South Harrison Street. At the van, we can do only two things. One, we can open your account, and we can instantly issue you an ATM card. Those are the only two services that we provide at the van. And because we are funding the first $5, we don't take cash at the van. So, how do you open an account? You bring your valid photo ID at the branch, which is at 603 North Church Street, on Monday evening, 3 to 6, on Thursday, 11:30 to 2:30, or Friday evening, 3 to 6. So they are very limited hours. Or you can come to the van Tuesdays, 11:30 to 2:30, in front of 600 South Harrison Street. And then the option is, if you bring in a group of people that are interested in becoming members of the credit union, contact us, contact Maricela at 298-3253. Contact her and work out when the van can come to you so we can open accounts and issue ATM cards and answer any questions that you may have about your credit union. Remember though, membership is open to those who live, work, worship, or study in the city of Wilmington and their family. So that's our credit union. So in a sense, DCRAC offers four distinct services: education and outreach around credit, money, housing, foreclosure, etc. Legal around title and IRS. And then banking, which is a separate agency, Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union, your bank. So we have been around for a long time. You've heard me since February of 1999. Everything that I said in 1999 is true today. And in between all these years, maybe my stories have been new, my style has aged, I have aged right before you, but ultimately the thing that I have been talking about is very simple. Everyone is out to get you. Your job of not getting got gets harder and harder by the minute, and your only protection is knowledge. Knowledge is incredibly powerful. I've said in the past, trust no one. It's true today. I've said in the past, two heads are better than one. It's true today. I've said in the past, if a good deal comes your way, run the other way, because it can't be two. It can't be a good deal. If I've said in the past, and I'll say today, if it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Give us a try. What in the world do you have to lose? You don't have to part with a dime. It's only your time. Give us a try. I promise you we will not disappoint you. I have great faith and confidence in my team. They care about you. We are all about you. We fight every day for you. We work every day for you. You should know that by now. I shall see you next month, and until then, have a wonderful time. The weather has changed. It's beautiful. Barbecue, do what you do. Don't spend your money, because I would much rather you save it at Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union. So give us a call. We'll bring that van over to you. And with that, all righty, bye-bye.